welcome to Where to Wheelock. I am so excited because today we're going to be going with one of my favorite people in the industry, Len Schwartz, to Greenwich, Connecticut. Len, would you like to introduce yourself?
I certainly will. Erin, it's a pleasure to see you again, and thank you so much. You're one of my favorite people, too. I'm Len Schwartz. I'm with Keller Williams Luxury we're actually based in Stamford, Connecticut, but my team covers all of what we call the Gold Coast, which is Lower Fairfield County, starting from Greenwich and working our way up the coast to the town of Fairfield. So, and I've been with Keller Williams for 15 years, and I absolutely love what I do, and I absolutely love Greenwich and all of those towns, but Greenwich in particular.
I love it. And one of the things that I admire about you the most, which I know we're not going to talk about today, but another time, is that you are like the database king. You've inspired me with my database and just how well you treat your database. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So if anyone is looking in Greenwich, Connecticut, you not only need to be in touch with this man because he will help you to get a wonderful deal, or at least the best deal, or guide you accordingly, but you also need to be in touch with him because he just works with his database better than anybody I know. I love it.
You want to say Happy New Year so that I could take off my glasses. Happy New Year, everyone.
But I love them.
Have a wonderful year, and let's hope it gets normalized too.
Oh my gosh, right from your lips to God's ears.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, who's moving to Greenwich?
New Yorkers.
Right, probably.
Come COVID, who's moving to Greenwich? Great question. We have found actually that in the last year, there was a study done not too long ago, a couple of months, that showed that Connecticut was the #3 state to which people are moving as a result of COVID. So what does that mean? Well, we're New York metro area. We're only a 45-minute train ride from New York. So that means a significant number of the people that are now moving to Connecticut are coming from New York. We do have some from Boston and some from surrounding states, New Jersey, but many, many, many from New York. So, and because Connecticut, Greenwich is such an easy commute into Manhattan, I think that, of course, people are working from home, but there's a really good chance that they'll be able to continue working from home and then commute 1 day a week or 2 days a week. And it's a very convenient commute. So the honest answer is a lot of New Yorkers. If you go to an open house now, you'll probably see 75% of the license plates are New York plates.
So that's so interesting. And I completely understand why, right? Because now if we can work from home, we want more space. But it's just so interesting. I also know that there's some tax perks for being in Connecticut. But it seems like Connecticut, especially Greenwich, it might not be a place that people go because there's a certain industry booming there. People go there because they want the lifestyle and the ability to commute.
Correct. So the commute is certainly very important. It's only a 45-minute train ride by express, and there are 4 stations in Greenwich, 4 train stations. It's amazing, all going into Grand Central. But lifestyle is very, very important, and I will tell you, obviously, we have a big waterfront industry. Boating is very big. There are 7 yacht clubs in Greenwich. The school system is phenomenal. We are consistently top 5 in the state. We have an incredible number. In addition to the public schools, we have 11 private schools. And then country clubs, a lot of country clubs. There are, I don't want to get the number wrong. There are 9 country clubs in Greenwich, just Greenwich. So that says a lot about what people are doing here and the lifestyle, really. So.
I mean, it really is the little mini hub for New Yorkers.
Very much so. Very much so, yes. And actually, our financial industry, what makes Greenwich particularly wealthy, so to speak, is that we have the largest hub of hedge funds outside of New York City. And it is remarkable. And I would love to be able to give you the history on that, other than to say that it is so convenient to New York. And if you don't need to be in New York to run your business, you started out here in Greenwich, and the property taxes are incredibly low out here. That's another thing. Property taxes are very low. So yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So is all of I'm going to start over with that sentence. Is all of Greenwich one kind of lifestyle, or are there a few different areas of Greenwich? Like if you really want that yacht clubby experience, are you in a certain area of Greenwich? If you want maybe something a little bit more low key, are you somewhere else, or is there just no low key in Greenwich?
No, there is actually. That's a great question. So yes, there's the waterfront community. And then there's backcountry, which is north of the Merritt, and they're very, very different lifestyles and very different, I would call it communities and culture, community feeling. So Greenwich is divided into a number of different communities, or you could call them market areas. Some of the communities like to call themselves their own villas or towns, but that's not really true. They just happen to be sort of isolated communities or separated communities. So we have, the main ones are Byram. This is starting from the west towards New York and working our way up to Stamford. Byram, Pembroke, Glenville, and then we have on the other side, Old Greenwich, which people of course have heard of, that's on the water, Riverside, which is close to the water, Coscob, close to the water, and then sort of everything else, which is Greenwich Central. And then backcountry is everything north of the Merritt. So there are distinct communities within Greenwich, and they're quite different actually. They really are quite different. So for example, Old Greenwich, which is exactly that, Old Greenwich, has its own downtown area, very few condos, one of the most beautiful parks in the state of Connecticut on the water. I can show you pictures, by the way. I can show you some images.
Yeah.
And it has a great village. I absolutely love Old Greenwich. It's my favorite part of Greenwich.
Do you want me to, or do you want to share your screen and show part of it while you're talking about it?
I can certainly try to do that, as a matter of fact. Actually, one thing I can do, if I'm able to do that, do I hit share screen?
Yeah. I love the screen share.
Okay. Now I go, let's see. I go to the Finder, is that correct? And then I go, okay.
Yeah, it should show you some options of what you want to share.
Okay, which
you
it did.
can.
So I clicked on that, and
Yeah.
okay, let me see. Here we go. Now, if I do that, now here's my.
There we go.
Okay.
And now we're shared.
And now I can open these up and presumably.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is share with you, not Fairfield County. Let's see. Oh, here, Greenwich neighborhoods. There we go. Are you able to see that? Did I get that right? Or
I can. Yeah, I can see it. So we can see now what you can see.
Okay. Okay. Good. And you see everything else, but that's okay. So this shows you the different neighborhoods, so to speak. So we talked about Byram, which is down here, Pembroke. They call it south of the Parkway, but it's really central Greenwich. North of the Parkway, which is backcountry, Coscob, Old Greenwich, Riverside. So that gives you a sense for how Greenwich is laid out. Stamford is over here to the east, Westchester County to the north, Westchester County to the west, and of course the Long Island Sound. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. So now if I go to, I'm going to just open up, like, for example, Old Greenwich, an aerial view of Old Greenwich. Now this is not all of Old Greenwich. You can see the whole picture, right?
I'm going to pause you for 1 second. Actually, I think if you hit share screen again and click to share the entire screen, because when you have a new pop-up, it didn't show us, or it didn't make it big, I guess.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So it just showed the little version of it.
Yeah.
So if I hit stop share, I'm sorry, I should have practiced this ahead of time.
No, that's okay.
Share screen. And now you're saying I share the desktop. Is that it? That's probably what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is probably what I'm saying. It just says screen for me, but.
There we go. Okay.
Ooh, that's exactly it.
Okay. So now I need to minimize that. Okay. So this is the edge of Old Greenwich, and you could see, and behind you is the Sound.
So pretty.
Really back there is like some of the towers of New York City. And so it gives you a sense for, like, this is obviously a waterfront community. And these are very, very
Yeah.
expensive homes, very expensive homes. These are all in the 10 to 20 million range.
Really? I was going to say, what's very expensive? Wow. I mean, they're gorgeous.
And yeah, and I'll show you a little bit more of those, a little bit more of the listings when we get, a little bit further along. I'll show you.
Yeah.
So let me see
Wow.
what else I have here. So
it's Old Greenwich. Okay.
This is, let's see, Greenwich Avenue. I think I have. Yeah, so here's an aerial view looking at Greenwich from the Sound, and you could see a golf course over here to the right, and then another area of Greenwich to the left there. So that sort of gives you an idea of what it would look like from a helicopter.
Okay.
On the water, of course. So that's, yeah, so those are, that's just a tidbit. I don't have a whole lot of photos, but I figured
No, that's okay. That's really great. Also because, I don't know, but when I think of Connecticut, I don't think of the waterfront. I don't know why, but it's just not the first thing that I think of. So it's really great to see this, to be like, oh, it is just I feel like from what you're saying, it really just is this little New York that's there on the waterfront. It's almost like the stop before retirement. Like, I still need to get to work, but I want to be able to golf and do water sports and enjoy a bigger home, etc.
It could very well be. The average age now of people buying in Connecticut is 40. So it's
wow.
Really,
okay.
Retirement age. Yeah, it's come down quite a bit, and that may be a result of COVID. What you're looking at here actually is Todd's Point Park, which is one of our beautiful parks, one of the large ones, and it's obviously on the water. And this is also at the very tip of Old Greenwich. And it's spectacular. It's just wonderful beaches, and there's so much to do there. It actually used to be owned by one individual, the entire property, and it was given to the town when that family passed away.
I would like to be involved in that family. I would like to. This is my park. Is that Old Greenwich right above it, by where your mom's is?
It is actually. So
yeah. Okay.
A little bit old Greenwich here, and then you can see downtown Greenwich in the distance over here, which of course is much more compact. So,
do you have to go through Old Greenwich to get to that park?
You do, yes, as a matter of fact, yeah. And the park is only for residents year long. However, you can actually purchase a day pass and go if you are, anyone can go, but you would purchase a day pass individually as opposed to just being a resident who can go anytime.
Oh, very cool.
There are quite a few large parks. We have 4 really good-sized parks, one of which is a state park, the Mayanis State Park, which has a river and lots of trails. In fact, I think I might have also put aside a map of, let's see, here we go. Yeah. So I'm sorry it's not as big as I'd like, but that's
that's okay.
State River Park Trail map. And it's a state park open to anyone, and it's divided between Stamford and Greenwich. And it's just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So you don't think of Greenwich in a state park.
No.
I'm gonna look at my cheat sheet because I don't remember how many acres it is, but it's quite large. It is 94 acres. 94 acres. And then the Greenwich Point Park, which is one I showed you earlier, is 147 acres. And then we have a preserve, Babcock Preserve, which is 300 acres. So it's amazing.
Wow.
There's a lot of land here that is being used for for other things, not just for homes, not just expensive homes. Yep.
Well, and to be honest with you, just as you said, I would never think of a park, but like this is a whole other type of lifestyle, right? I mean, I'm seeing that some of these, loops are like 4.5 miles long, 2.5 miles long. That's That's
Yes.
nice for people that want to live by and go running or just hike for a day.
Correct. Running, hiking, dog walking. There are some trails you can
Yeah.
ride the bikes on too. So
Oh, that's great.
it's beautiful. It is a beautiful park. Oops.
Hmm.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Now I see.
Oh,
That makes it a
perfect.
lot easier. So, okay. Anyway, I'm learning. Okay.
No, that's okay. I appreciate it. That's really cool.
Let's see. What else did I want to share with you? This is Greenwich Avenue. People have heard of Greenwich Avenue. It's our shopping street. We have the Saks of the world, and what else is on Greenwich Avenue? I should know this.
Oh, actually, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. So this is a very important question for those people that love to shop in New York City. This is where they would go, and you're saying that they have pretty equivalent stores.
Yeah.
Or I should be asking.
So that's our, what do they call it? Like in California, in Los Angeles, this is our sort of main shopping area.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's like we have a Saks, we have a Restoration Hardware, which is just beautiful. Richards, which has been around for like 100 years, and it's very high-end men's and women's clothing. There's a Hermès, I have to say that right, Tiffany, Zara, Apple Store, things like that, all on Greenwich Avenue. And what's really cool is that now, because of COVID, they've shut off an area where all the restaurants are. On Greenwich Avenue, and so now in nice weather, they're actually dining outside. So they close off a whole area, and you can actually sit outdoors, which is
great,
absolutely beautiful. So,
and Rodeo Drive, it just came to me.
That's the one. That is our little mini version of Rodeo Drive. Thank you.
And is there like walkable housing from that area?
There is. And that's actually one of the listings that I was going to share with you. So what's happened in the past, say 10 years, is the growth of the downtown area, because so many people wanted to be able to walk to the train and live in Greenwich and shop and go to restaurants. So all of a sudden, people started buying up properties and building newer homes and condos and townhouses in the downtown area so that everything is walkable. And
that's so cool.
It has grown tremendously, and the prices have gone up tremendously. The interesting thing now, and so all of a sudden backcountry, which used to be where everyone wanted to be because they were far away from everyone, was not very popular. Those prices were dropping. Come COVID, things have changed a little bit. So now we see a lot of people looking at homes and a lot of homes selling in backcountry that were not selling previously. So it's quite interesting.
So cool.
Now you work from home. I don't really need to get to the train station any longer, or if I do, a 15-minute drive is fine. But still living in that downtown area, there's some amazing, beautiful homes, and I'll share some of those with you in a little bit, but absolutely. A couple other tidbits I wanted to add in there is that, depending on how you look at it, Greenwich is probably the wealthiest town in Connecticut. There are different ways of measuring it, but it really is the wealthiest town in Connecticut. That has to do with a combination of income, assets, and real estate. But believe it or not, lowest tax rate per residential assessed square foot in the state. And the reason for that is because we have so much commercial business. We have so much, there are so many companies and corporations and commercial buildings that take up a big part of the tax, the tax bill for the town, that it really lowers the residential real estate taxes. So an example might be that if you were, a $2 million house here in Greenwich, thank you, is your taxes might be half of what they would be in someplace in Westchester.
Really?
Yeah. Or even less. Or even less.
Yeah. So besides that little downtown area, is there any other area that has a lot of commercial, or is it just that downtown area is so heavy with commercial?
No, there is actually, because all of Post Road, which is
Mhm.
US 1, is commercial. So
Okay.
there are a lot of stores, shops, businesses, all kinds of things along Post Road, and that runs all the way from Westchester County, Rye, to Stamford, Connecticut. So there's a lot of industry, and then there are some little alcoves here and there with we don't have any high rises, not in Greenwich,
Mhm.
but maybe 4-story buildings with a lot of offices, a lot of corporations, a lot of hedge funds.
Do you find that people, because I would assume not, but I can be wrong often, would you say that people use that also, or it would be a good investment? Because it seems like it's just far more of an end user
You're talking
type
about
of area.
for the
Greenwich.
homeowners?
Yeah. Like, do people buy investments there, rent them out, or is it a lot more of the end user?
No, that's interesting. An interesting question. There are a number of multifamilies that are very good investment properties.
Okay.
And so the nice thing is that you're going to get much higher rents typically. Obviously, the costs are higher, but you're going to get higher rents for those multifamilies here
Mm-hmm.
in Greenwich. And some people are buying condos or other properties to rent them out, like single-family homes. So lately, you can't even rent. I mean, if you had a home for rent in Greenwich, it would rent well over regular, what the usual rate is, and you just can't find them. You can't find them because so many
Wow.
people wanted to come out of New York and get settled in Greenwich before they bought something. So everything went like that really quickly. So
Wow. Okay. Huh. That's very interesting.
and there are
Because
condos too. There are condos.
yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see some of it.
Okay, I'm going to show you a few of those. The other thing I wanted to mention actually is that,
Yeah, please.
there's so much going on in Greenwich. We have a wine and food festival, which is spectacular. That's usually in late summer, but this year I think they're going to try and fit 2 in. We have the Greenwich International Film Festival. We have a spectacular museum, the Bruce Museum. And the Bruce
What is that? Oh, sorry.
So it's right near the Greenwich train station, and it's an arts and science museum, and it's
Okay.
actually going
Very cool.
through. It's going to go through a major expansion pretty soon. They're raising funds to like triple the size, which is lovely. And then one of the things I love doing the most is the Greenwich Polo Club. So we have a polo club in the center of Greenwich. You would never guess it. And they have 8 matches a year during the summer. And it's such great fun. It's so amazing to do that. So whether you're from in-state or out-of-state, wherever you're coming from, go to greenwichpoloclub.com or whatever it is, Google it, and go to one of those matches because it's a lot of fun. So.
I mean, you're making Greenwich sound really interesting to me. And I'm a diehard New Yorker. So. Mm-hmm. This is
even for visits.
Yeah.
So
no, that sounds wonderful.
We have what I have found is that a lot of New Yorkers have kept their New York residence, but decided to buy something in the country, up in Greenwich, and they may rent out their condo in New York and then live here 5 days a week or be there 2 days a week, whatever it is. So I'm finding a lot of that now.
Yeah. Well, and it's also so interesting, like you said, how this shift happened of people wanting to be in that same lifestyle that they had in New York. I think that is really just showing, or it's proof of what you said, that so many New Yorkers are moving there, that they kind of made downtown and walkable what they were looking for and more in demand.
Yeah. And if you have young kids and you don't want them to go to New York City schools or you don't want to put them in private school, Greenwich is a great next step. Because it has the family culture. It has there's so much going on here, and also those phenomenal schools, those great schools. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. So now I'm going to try to do this again, right? I'm going to go to, I share screen. Is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I share desktop. Okay. And
Yay,
then,
there we are.
all right. So I think we're here, except now what I have to
Yes.
do is bring up my MLS. So where is that? Probably should have done this first. Nope.
Oh, that's all right.
Here we go. Okay. So
All
what I did
right.
is I went right into the MLS.
Mhm.
Greenwich has its own MLS, by the way. So if you're a realtor and watching this, we have a statewide MLS, and then there's the Greenwich MLS, because the Greenwich has always been separate. It's kind of like a little country club MLS. So everything,
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty wild. So all the listings in Greenwich go on the Greenwich MLS, and then some of them also go on the statewide MLS. So,
Well, that's very interesting. That's also why you need the right agent when you're looking there, because if you don't know that,
that's correct. That's correct.
you might be looking in the wrong spot.
We hope everything goes on Zillow or whatever, but it doesn't always, and you need to know both. So let me, I think what I'll do is I'll start on the low end and there we go. That did, oh yeah, it did. Okay. So if you had about $1 million to spend in Greenwich, here's where you would start, and I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to photos, and I don't know. I don't know how large that is. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I feel bad because I don't feel like it's large enough for everyone to see, but you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll try this. Because basically you're looking at my, what I look at when I look at in the MLS. So this is what I was talking about earlier, these people who are buying homes and then putting in townhouses very close to downtown, so it's a walkable to, Greenwich Avenue. And these are 2 townhouses, so they're side by side townhouses. So basically your association is 2. And it's quite nice. It's quite lovely. It's not super, super high end, but it's only $915,000. And
how big is this? Sorry.
This is, I want to say, about 3,500 square feet. So,
I mean, that's amazing. And when you say it's walkable to downtown, what does that mean?
You're talking about a 5-minute walk, 10 at the most.
Really?
Oh yeah. So, and what's happening is all these older properties are being bought up by developers, and they're putting up these 2 or 3 unit condo associations. And if you have everything you need, it's like a full-size house. You have a small backyard, of course, but it's like a full-size house, and you can walk to downtown. So we're getting New Yorkers who don't care to have gigantic properties, and
we don't know what it's like to have grass.
Right. And
what do we do with it?
And downsizers. So you have someone who might have lived in a mansion for 20 years, and now they just want to walk to everything conveniently. So that's what you're looking at. So for $915, that's what you're talking about. Now, if you wanted a single family home, and that's downtown Greenwich. So this one is in Riverside for $949. So $949,000, this is only 1,400 square feet. Now, it's been completely renovated. It looks lovely inside. And it does give you a nice little backyard. But it's also $950,000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that area is a little bit more in demand.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, and there's your backyard. So Riverside has become a very popular community for young professionals with young families. The lots are smaller, so you may get like a 1/4 of an acre. If you're lucky, a little bit more than that. And you could put up a 4,000 square foot house, sometimes more than that, 5,000 square foot house. You meet your neighbors, you can walk the street and get to know your neighbors. Whereas in most parts, not most parts, but many parts of Greenwich, the minimum lot size is an acre, 2 acres, or even more. We have a lot of
Okay.
3 acres, or even in some places 10 acres zoning. So you really don't ever get to meet your neighbors.
Yeah. So Riverside is much more communal.
Yeah. Correct. So now if we're going to go up to about $2 million in Riverside, you're going to get new construction. This was probably an old house, an old lot. And it's quite lovely. It's absolutely,
wow. Yeah.
And this one is probably, I'm going to guess 4,500. I don't have the details up right now, but about 4,500 square feet.
No problem.
Yeah. And again,
that's beautiful.
reasonably short walk to most places, but probably more likely a drive. There is, by the way, a Riverside train station, so you could walk to the train station from Riverside. If we go up to like 2.4 million and we're looking at a condo, there are buildings that are very close to Greenwich Avenue, like this one, which is an old classic building. Again, walk to everything, but it's beautiful inside. And this is, you know, what I would say is kind of like a classic building, New York style, you know, condo or co-op.
Yeah.
Stunning inside, and again, 2.4 million on this one. Quite nice.
Wow. And so what would a homeowner association fee be for a condo like that? Like, what would your monthlies be?
Generally, your monthlies, it's not a co-op, it's a condo. So your monthlies are going to be somewhere from $800 to $1,500, depending on what's included and how big a property it is.
And would that be including your taxes or no?
It doesn't. It doesn't. On the co-ops, it would, but and the co-ops are going to be much higher price. But we don't have too many co-ops. An interesting differentiation between Connecticut and New York. We have very few co-ops here, very few. Whereas New York is very commonplace. Yeah.
So then what would taxes maybe be for that property that you're showing us, the 2.4 condo?
You know what? I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to bring that up. So taxes on this are $18,000. So $18,000 taxes on a $2.4 million property, which compares very favorably with other states, that I will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you're looking at around a little over $2,000 a month in your monthlies. That's really not bad, or closer to 3 maybe if it's 8 to 15.
Actually, this
25 to 3
tells me this particular unit what the monthly common charges are. It's almost 3,000 square feet, and
it's beautiful.
Common charges actually on this one are 2,400. But actually, the interesting thing is, an older building like this, the common charges will probably include your heat.
Oh, nice.
It would include heating and hot water, most likely, and maybe air conditioning. So that helps. That makes a difference.
Yeah. And you're right, though. Those taxes comparatively are a lot less than here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So at $2.5 million in Greenwich, you're looking at this is if you don't need to have a short walk to downtown.
Okay.
Although, and actually this is 2 families. These are similar to the 2 townhouses, but it's like 2 single family homes connected together, and each of those runs for about 2.5 million.
Okay.
So, and that's, again, getting the most out of the land, and people who don't mind so much if they don't have an enormous backyard and a swimming pool.
So this is also in Greenwich. Is this just going to be a little further from downtown?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's in Orchard Place, which is, it's still Greenwich, but it's a little further from downtown. You could walk it, but it's not a real short walk.
Yeah. Beautiful though.
It is lovely. Significant, relatively new, probably built within the last couple of years. Significant difference in pricing between what's considered North Country, which is like a 10 to 15 minute drive to the train station downtown, and what's walkable to downtown. I'm going to show that right now. So here is, this is very close to the Merritt. Now we're looking at a $5 million house on Taconic Road, which is close to the Merritt. Now, so $5 million, okay, that seems about a Greenwich price. The house is beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's take that $5 million and move down to Old Greenwich and see what you get in Old Greenwich.
I'm nervous. Is it the shack?
Well, not really, but it's not on the water like you would hope, because on the water it would be more like 10 million. So it's a nice home. It's a nice, very small, small lot. See, there it is. So you see how small the lot is. It's probably 0.2 acres. It is a nice home. It is a nice home, and that's what you get. You don't have water views, because water views are double the price.
I was going to say, if you cross the street and we're right on the water, how much of a difference would it be?
Big
Like
house,
double?
probably 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful though.
yeah, it is quite nice. And the community is what people move there for, because the
Mm-hmm.
community is very tight knit in Old Greenwich. So all the neighbors know each other. They have like, neighborhood, fair, Halloween is a big deal down there. And I think that's why people really, really, I love Old Greenwich. So,
Do they have their own like grocery store, convenience stores, all of that type of stuff out there in Old Greenwich, or do they have to travel for that?
no, actually, great question. So Old Greenwich has its own downtown area, like a little.
Oh, okay.
It's not enormous, but it's quaint. It's almost
So
like
now,
a New England quaint downtown area, which is really amazing.
okay.
So you have a grocery store, drugstore, wine store, liquor store. Of course, I think there's two actually.
Yeah.
Diner and a couple of really nice restaurants, and most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but very important, train station. There's an Old Greenwich train station. So
Okay. It really does have everything.
yeah, and in Old Greenwich, and there's also the elementary school. So you have sort of everything within a sub community of Greenwich. One of the reasons.
Nice. Okay.
Not a lot of condos there. There are some condos, but not a lot. And then if money's no object, then you're talking about pretty much your own waterfront estate. This one's listed at 32 million on Vista Drive in Greenwich. And so, if you really want your own little peninsula, you can find it if you're willing to pay for it. So you can see it's
Yeah. Wow, that is beautiful. Is that a very typical kind of construction for these big homes
We have,
or architecture?
great question. So we have a lot of classic New England colonial, which is what I would describe this as.
Mm-hmm.
This one was built, let me just take a quick look. This one was built in 1939, so it's almost 100 years old. It's obviously dated and updated. The most recent information was in 2000. It's also almost 20,000 square feet. It's almost 20,000 square feet. And then
So it's a little bit big.
it's a large home. It's a large home.
Yeah.
And taxes on this property are 277,000. So the waterfront properties are a bit higher than that. So
well, as you said, when you have your own peninsula.
Yeah. That gives you and also most likely it has its own, sort of boat dock area, and more than likely waterfront properties have that too. So you can very easily take a boat from here to New York City if you wanted to. And many people.
It always amazes me how close it is.
Mm-hmm.
When you showed that first photo, then you're like, and that's New York. I'm like, it is. It's really that close. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is quite close. And that's why I think that's a good reason why it's so popular. There are some people who helicopter from New York to Greenwich and land on
I love it. I mean, I'll be there soon. Let me just go to my helipad.
Yeah, exactly.
One day. No, I love that.
Horse farms. The other thing I wanted to throw in there is some of the celebrities.
Please.
If that's okay with you, some of the celebrities.
Of course.
Who live or have lived in Greenwich: Mel Gibson, Regis Philbin, Truman Capote, Glenn Close, Howard, Jane Fonda, Adam Sandler, a lot of others. Now, those are actors, but the Kathy Lee Gifford, Montel Williams, Diana Ross, Dorothy Hamill, Olympic fame. And then a lot of the, people like Lou Gerstner from IBM and Ray Dalio from Bridgewater, which is the largest hedge fund in the world. The McMahons, Linda and Vince McMahon, World Wrestling, entertainment. Matt Lauer, Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren. Anyway, so all those people either do or did live in Greenwich at some point in time.
It does seem very Tommy Hilfiger. Like, I feel like that's where all of his ads come from.
Absolutely.
Or like his estate in Greenwich.
Judge Judy too, by the way. Judge Judy lives here. So
oh, I love that.
You'll see them occasionally out, but I think people are pretty respectful of their privacy. I actually saw Judge Judy. We were out to dinner with friends, and we were at her favorite restaurant. And my wife kept saying, I know who that is. I know who that is. And I was like, I haven't a clue because I'm not very good at celebrity spotting. And then she said, that's Judge Judy. But it's nice, you know, but people are very, no one asking for autographs and things like that.
Yeah. It's probably why people get up to Greenwich. They can have a certain lifestyle and they're not bombarded.
Correct. I think that's a good part of it. Yes. So,
Yeah.
what didn't I ask? Questions do you have? And anything that you're wondering that I didn't ask?
Yeah. Well, one other thing I really want to know, just because, you know, here things can take for forever. So if somebody is thinking about buying in Greenwich, how long should they plan? Like, how long does it take to close once they actually find that home?
Mm-hmm. So it's a great question. Connecticut is wonderful for closing. It's very simple.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, the truth be told, well, if you're a cash buyer, obviously you can close within weeks. But even if you're financing, you can probably close within 4 weeks from the time
Really? Okay.
you have an offer on your home. From the time you have an accepted offer to closing, 4 weeks. And, you know, with COVID and obviously mortgages taking a little bit longer, sometimes 5 or 6 weeks, but the process goes pretty quickly. And that's one of the things I love about real estate in Connecticut. Finding the house will take longer these days because our inventory is so low. So, you know, one of the things I didn't talk about is because of the COVID effect, the exodus from New York and other places, our inventory has, in Greenwich and most of Connecticut has declined significantly. So it's sometimes really hard to find a home in a reasonable price range. And by reasonable, I say in Greenwich, if you're looking in the, say, 800 to 1.5 million, very hard to find. And you just have to wait for things to come on. And when they do, it's multiple offer situation. You know, Stanford, those numbers would be somewhere between 500 and 700. You know, it's the sweet spot for people moving here for starter homes. And we've had, I mean, the numbers have been crazy in terms of how many more homes have sold year over year in 2020 versus 2019. We're up quite a bit. So but our average sales price, number of homes sold total is up 50%. That's number of closed.
That's a lot.
50% year over year total. And then the price change, average price change up about 17.5%.
Wow.
In Greenwich. So the other thing I probably didn't mention is the population. Our population of Greenwich is 63,000.
Okay.
It's actually 67 square miles. The town is 67 square miles. There are 23,000 households in Greenwich.
Wow.
Yep. And then if you're wondering, 33% of those households have children, young children under 18, and 60% are married couples.
This is all wonderful information.
A little bit of information. So Connecticut is a great state to live in. I've been here now 15 years. I grew up on Long Island, and I spent most of my adult life before this in Chicago, living in Chicago. And I absolutely love Chicago and I love Illinois. But Connecticut is a great town. And the reason I say that is because proximity to New York, at least Fairfield County, proximity to New York, so we can go to New York anytime we want, and we do. But also it's a New England town and a New England state. So we can go to Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and it's a very easy drive. So to have if you wanted to have, like, for example, a second home in Vermont, a ski home, you know, you're talking about maybe a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive at the most. And you could be living in Greenwich, and you could take the train in to see the symphony anytime you want, or Broadway anytime you want. Yeah, it's
really nice.
Really, really nice lifestyle. There's a lot going on here culturally, socially, and so it's good. It's a good place to live. I'm real happy here. So, and my family is not here. My family is spread around. You know, Long Island, New Jersey, New York,
but you win when it comes to where to live.
Yeah, and I think
according to you, at least,
over time, we're going to see a lot of people moving here. Also, by the way, our state income tax is much lower than New York and New Jersey.
That, I think, is such a big thing when people were thinking about, what do I do? And they're like, if I have to work from home, forget it. Why would I pay these prices? Yeah. Kind of wish I did it.
And then as we mentioned, you know, property taxes are quite a bit lower too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots
it's
of pluses.
a good place to live in Greenwich. As I said, I don't know how much more information you want. You know, Greenwich average condo price is about $1 million,
Okay.
and the average single family home is about 2.7 million thereabouts. I'm rounding things off to make it easy.
Yeah.
Average condo is about 2,000 square feet. Average single family 4,700
Wow.
square feet. So
Wow. So
yeah,
you get more space too.
yeah, but there are less expensive homes. Like you could find a home in Greenwich that you probably want to do some fixing up and repairs and such for like 500,000 to 600,000.
Yeah.
Obviously, not going to be close to downtown and close to the train station, but there you can absolutely find them, and they're available.
Hmm.
And if you don't mind doing some work, which I always encourage people to do, buy a fixer upper, and then everything you add to that house, you're adding value. And
Hmm.
someday you're going to have an enormous amount of equity because you took the time and effort to take an older home and make it into a wonderful thing. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Len, thank you so much for your time. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I personally feel like I learned so much about Greenwich. It almost seems, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of downtown Milwaukee, where there's so much to do. You're on the water, so you can still have that type of a lifestyle, but then you're close to Chicago if you want something bigger. It's really interesting. I didn't think of that originally when I thought of Greenwich, so it's great.
Now, were you in Milwaukee at some point? Did you live there at all?
No, my aunt did though. So we would go and visit her. Yeah. And we would spend some time there. And I was right outside of Milwaukee. So I spent some time there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But lots
So,
of fun.
well,
Awesome.
well,
Well, thank you for your time. No, thank you. And if anybody wants to be in touch with Len, let me know. I'm sure he would absolutely love to help you out. But thank you so much, viewers. And
please let Erin know. She will put you in touch with me. And it would be my pleasure to help anyone. My pleasure.
yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Bye.